Oh my god, I'm honestly so nervous to make this video. You have no idea. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm so scared. This is my actual life, and I cannot believe that something like this actually happened in my life. Okay, I'm nervous. The last time that you guys saw me, I had everything on my dream board. Going to California, check. Friends, check. Boyfriend that I really like, check. Good grades, social media, doing well, and just in a few weeks, I went from that to moving back to a country that I really hated, having nowhere to live, my mother not wanting to talk to me, going through a pretty hard breakup, and honestly having bad luck after bad luck after bad luck, to the point where the friends who actually knew what was happening in my life were watching my life like, did this get cursed or something? So in this video, I'm gonna be telling you guys how I went from living my dream life to rock bottom, how I got over a really hard breakup with a person that I thought was honestly everything I've ever wanted in my life, and one thing that I learned from this experience that changed my outlook on life completely and I believe can also benefit you. Hi net best friends, and welcome back to my sleepover. I have not said this in such a long time, and honestly I'm really sorry, but this video hopefully will explain what actually happened over the past 2 months that I've been taking a break from YouTube, why I actually had to take that break, and hopefully it's going to be entertaining for you and maybe you can learn from my mistakes as we usually do on this channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I get myself into a lot of weird situations in my life because it's a video of my jeans from the point where I was holding my phone in my hands. And guess who the very first person that watched my Snapchat story was? The guy I was talking about. And this is one of those videos where I tell you guys about it and hopefully you can learn something from my mistakes so you don't have to go through the same thing yourself. Okay, but basically for some context, for those of you guys who know me, you know that my dream has always been to go to California. Ever since I was a freaking kid, I've been writing in my diary that I would go to Hollywood and I'm going to be living in California. That I had to do so many things to get there. For my family to afford that financially as well, it was a lot because you know that California is expensive, which I'm not gonna go into depth because I don't think that it's really relevant for this video. Point being that my whole life I've been striving for this one thing. My whole life my goal was to go to California, and after so many years I was finally on a plane to Los Angeles, California, which honestly I should have been really happy about. But the summer before I left for California, I kind of met someone and that person seemed incredibly amazing to me. We just immediately clicked and it was so easy for us to talk. We had so many things in common and it really felt like it was fated or some kind of like meant to be scenario because I knew this person from school and I kind of always liked this person, but we kind of kept like talking here and there and never really were in each other's lives that much. And this summer we finally started talking. We stayed up every single night texting and talking and voice messages and FaceTiming for 5 hours at least, and then this person came to visit me and we really liked each other, so we decided to start dating. Now that was a problem because my plan was honestly to go to California, transfer to a university there, and to stay there, but this person that I started dating was studying in Europe. Now you can kind of see how that becomes a little bit of a problem, but basically I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there for a semester, have something that I've always wanted, and then maybe think about going there and doing a master's program or something like that. So at first I was like, okay, I'm just going to rewrite my plan just a little bit. So I spent my last week of summer with this guy that I was dating, and then I was on a plane to go to Los Angeles. As It Was by Harry Styles is playing, which is always a good sign. Like whenever I hear this song, it's usually the best moment of my life. And I don't know, I have so many mixed emotions right now. It was beautiful, it was warm, people were actually speaking English, which I was super happy about because I didn't have to worry about language barriers for the first time in my life when making friends. There was a pool, there was a jacuzzi, the university was beautiful, my classes were great. The only problem were honestly the girls that I was living with because I just didn't really vibe with my roommates. But apart from that, and kind of being shocked that you cannot get anywhere without a car because I'm really used to public transportation from living in Europe, everything was amazing. Except for the fact that that my brain, as soon as I got there, was looking for a reason to leave. Some little inconvenience, and I was already like, okay, maybe I should just go back to Europe. Maybe I shouldn't be here. And the reason why I was looking for a reason to go back so bad was because I felt like this life that I've wanted for myself didn't matter anymore. And the only thing that I wanted was the person that I was dating. I used to have dreams, and then my whole dream became this one person. It made it even worse that the Wi-Fi on campus was just shared between everyone. The dorms didn't have their own individual routers, and I didn't have phone data, so it was kind of hard for us to FaceTime. So I was really sad about that because I was like, oh, we can barely even talk to each other over FaceTime, and what's gonna happen when he's going to start university and he's going to be even busier. And the only thing that I wanted was to be with that person in that moment. So I talked to him and I was like, I think I want to go back. So in just 2 days, I packed up my shit, dropped all of my classes, left the freaking university, and went back to the country that I used to despise so much. A huge mistake. And one of the biggest bad parts about this decision, it was not only being like, to hell with my dreams, this person is my dream now, but also the fact that I didn't have anywhere to live in Europe. I was deadly optimistic about this for some reason. I just went there full on like delusional lucky girl syndrome, being like, something's gonna like figure itself out. I can just find a dorm or something. All the dorms were taken and there was only one that was available, which was an insane price that I couldn't really afford. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna find somewhere to sleep for a few days and I'm gonna look for apartments. Apartments in the housing crisis right now are not easy to find. But all of that didn't really matter in my brain. I was honestly just like, as long as I'm with this person, everything's going to be okay. And I was going to go and stay with him for like a week after I came back, as well as we were talking about living together for the next semester. So you can honestly imagine how I felt when 2 days after I arrived to Europe, we're FaceTiming as usual, and all of a sudden, after being like, oh, like, you mean so much to me and I want to spend my whole life with you and I want to be with you for a really long time and I want to be with you forever, all of a sudden we have to break up. I did not really understand where this came from, especially now that I felt like I made such a big decision, honestly, just because of this person. There was no other reason behind it, and I feel like even leaving California, I was lying to myself and I was lying to everyone else, because I knew that everyone would tell me that I'm not in my right mind if I said that the reason that I wanted to leave was to be closer to this guy. I knew that my friends would call me crazy. I knew that my family definitely would not allow it. And I knew that even if I admitted that to myself, I would call myself crazy. So I just told myself that, oh, I just like don't like my roommates and it's just such a toxic environment. I just want to leave. I kept lying to myself and lying to everyone else. And in that moment, the truth kind of just sunk in that I'm in a place where I really don't want to be, just for the sake of being closer to this person that I thought was everything that I ever wanted in life and that I actually saw a future with, which honestly every single other person that I've ever dated, I've never seen a future with them. I believed everything that he told me and honestly made one of the biggest mistakes that anyone can freaking make, which is, even if you have someone in your life that you feel like you really like, and if you have someone in your life that you feel like you maybe see a future with, you should still have your own life apart from that person. Strive for your goals, achieve what you want to have in life, and then have that person along in your life. Don't make that person your whole entire life, because if they're everything to you, if they're the only thing that you want in life, what's gonna happen once they leave? That day, I don't think I've ever felt worse. I didn't have my own apartment. I was crashing in a room of this person that I knew from university. I had no friends there with me in that moment, and I just felt so terribly alone and so terribly lost. And the whole situation just dawned on me how I just left everything that I've worked for in my life for someone that was gone in a split second. I couldn't eat for 2 weeks. I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks. I just stayed up the whole night, and there were so many thoughts in my head and so many memories and so many questions, like, why would this person do this? Which, to that, I just want to say that another thing that I learned from this situation is that if you're heartbroken by someone, if someone told you that they really loved you, or if someone told you that you just meant so much to them and they want to be with you and everything, but their actions were different. Actions always say way more than words can. Someone can paint you castles in the clouds with their words, but if they're just made of air, then how sturdy is that castle going to be? It's probably going to fall apart the second that you step on it. I texted my friend and I was talking to him, and he said something that really stuck with me, because I was just sitting there like, this person said that he really cared about me. He said that he wanted to be with me and that I was the most important thing in his life or whatever. And my friend just said something that honestly was kind of painful, but something that you do have to realize. And what he told me was that he knows some really horrible people in his life, but even the worst people don't hurt the people that they love. And I just thought about it and I was like, that's so true. And he was like, if he did this, then he didn't even care. One day I'm the most important thing in his life, and the next day he breaks up with me and blocks me everywhere, which is really freaking harsh. Whenever I would break up with someone, I would just explain the situation, talk with them, and then distance myself. It doesn't have to be this whole complete deal of like, oh, let me make sure that we can never talk again, so I'm gonna block you from everywhere and completely cut you out of my life. And if that person hurts you, then they never even loved you in the first place. I know it's really hard to realize, but honestly, I feel like making that realization myself let me feel more free, because the whole time there was this gap in my head that if this person said these things, how could he do this? But after hearing my friend say that, it all just made sense. Maybe sometimes people's words are not true, or sometimes some people tend to get so carried away by their feelings that they don't even realize that they're talking a way bigger game than they actually can stick up for. And one more thing here is that all of my friends, as much as I thought that this person was completely perfect for me and that we were meant to be, for some reason, most of my friends and the people that I've talked to about him kept telling me that either they didn't like him, or that I need to be more careful, or that this person is going to break my heart and it's going to end badly, which I really didn't understand what was exactly the reasoning behind that. Maybe your friends can see some things that you don't see. I usually say not to listen to anyone say anything about your relationship, because a relationship is between two people and it's no one else's business. But sometimes if all of your friends seem to think something about a person that you're dating and you feel like, oh no, but this person is so perfect and I see nothing wrong with him, but literally every single one of your friends that know about you and this person are like, dude, like, I don't see this ending well. Sometimes your friends see things that you can't, and I think it's actually a statistic that other people are more accurate about predicting the length of your relationship than you are, which is kind of crazy. And honestly, when this happened, I felt like I wouldn't be happy for a really long time. When this person left me and I had to move from crashing with one person to crashing to another person, to an Airbnb that I could only afford for 4 nights, and then an Airbnb that my friend booked when she came to visit me, and then again crashing with the first person, until I finally moved back into my old room in an apartment that I used to live in, having my mom not wanting to see me because of this stupid thing that I did, and her honestly just being like, just learn to deal with your own mistakes, which I'm kind of grateful for, because not having an option to just go back home and having to kind of sort out the mess that I've made myself made me grow up so much more and take more responsibility for my life. But this time period was honestly horrible. I felt like I would not be happy in a really long time, especially when I finally got my old room back and I was unpacking. And I remember the day that I was packing up my things before I went to stay with him for the last week of summer, and how excited I felt, and all the memories that we also had in that room that meant so much to me. I felt like the room was haunted, and I felt like as long as I was in that room, I would not be able to be happy about it. But the next day I woke up and nothing had changed. It was the same haunted room. He was still gone from my life. I was still in a place where I didn't really want to be. But all of a sudden I was just drinking coffee and watching a video on YouTube when I just felt so happy, and I couldn't explain why I felt that happy. I just felt so joyful about listening to the video that I was listening to and watching the sunlight come in through the window and how beautifully it just fell onto the floor. And I felt so much joy about the coffee that I was drinking that it made me realize something. something, which I remember from some happiness studies that I've heard about, which is that we usually assign happiness to these huge things as a house, a huge group of friends, or when I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna be happy. But paradoxically, none of the things that we think are going to make us happy actually make us happy. Happiness is usually in the joy that you find in something, and happiness is also something that you can allow yourself to feel. If you're constantly going to be telling yourself that you're gonna be happy once you're in a relationship, you're not allowing yourself to be happy right now. There's always something to be joyful and happy about, like the atmosphere in this room, the fairy lights that are behind me, those small tiny moments that just feel so perfect and peaceful. It's noticing those little things and allowing yourself to be happy. It's kind of like that quote from Harry Potter by Albus Dumbledore, which is, happiness can be found even in the darkest places if one remembers to turn on the light. Right now, I'm working on picking myself back up, finding myself once again, and getting back to doing what I want in life. And if you guys want some more crazy story times from my life, then check out this video right here. And if you guys want something that is more self-development oriented, something about confidence or self-love, then check out this video right here. And I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm tired. Bye!